So hello again everybody, and welcome back to our little series about home smoking. Last week we spoke about preparing your coal smoker, how to fill and light up the coal smoke generator, and then Paul spoke about how to prepare your pork to cure for making bacon. So this week we're going to move on and we're going to talk about salmon and cheese. Paul's video will concentrate on the cheese, and I'm going to talk about the salmon, what to look for, how to prepare it, how to cure it, and then for next week's video I'll talk about setting up the smoker and how to smoke the salmon. So first of all, the salmon itself. So when I go into my fishmonger, what I ask for is a full fillet of salmon, pinned and scaled. Basically what that means is the fishmonger takes out the pin bones which run down the middle of the fish. They're a little line of bones. They run down through the center of the fish. Actually, I just found one there now which I'll take out myself. But the pin bones run down through the middle of the fish, and then he also turns it over and he takes the scales off the back of the fish. Taking off the scales is not really as essential because they're not doing any harm. You're not going to be eating the skin anyway. But it just means when you take the scales off, you don't have the potential of scales getting into your finished product. So if you go in and ask for the fishmonger for pinned and scaled side of salmon, and he'll take all the scales off it for you, and that's not a problem. I found a little pin bone here when I was just running my finger up along the side of the middle of the fish. So it's very simple to take it out. You just get this is a little fish tweezers, just pulls out the bone just like that. So this is a side of salmon which I picked up yesterday for anybody in Limerick. I got it in Seabreeze, it's top of William Street. It's about 1.4 kilos of salmon. It cost me €30. A little bit dearer than they were at Christmas. They were about €25 at Christmas, but €30 for a full side of salmon is pretty good value, and it's a good size. It is just under 1.4 kilos. So yeah, not too bad. It's actually too big to go into my smoker. So what I do is I cut just a couple of pieces off the end. They'll do for lunch tomorrow, and I keep those, and then I just use the smoke. So this is the pot that I use for curing my fish. Now this is just a big old jam saucepan. I've had it for the last 40, 50 years. It's about a 3-gallon pot. I fill it about 2/3 with cold water, just straight out of the tap. And then I mix it with salt. Now there's no hard and fast rule about how much water and how much salt to use. The guideline that I use is when you put in enough salt, you dissolve the salt, stir it with a big balloon whisk, and when you have enough salt in the water that a small potato will float, then you have enough salt in the water. So I just literally pour in about 2/3 of an ordinary drum of table salt. Now you might say, God, that's an awful waste of good salt and expensive. It's about 75 cents worth. So I just put it in there, and then I get my big balloon whisk and I stir it. That's just about a full drum of table salt, thereabouts. I stirred it well until all the salt is dissolved, and threw in one potato. Once that's done, you just remove your potato, you put in your fish, and you leave it for 24 hours. So once your fish has been in the cold brine for 24 hours, the salt and water, you take it out and dry it off very thoroughly in kitchen roll. It's important that you get any excess water off the fish, because at this stage you're going to sugar it, and the purpose of the sugar is to draw out any excess water that's inside in the fish. So you don't want anything laying on top. So really what you do is you need a thin layer of sugar on top. Now, for the purpose of this exercise, I'm using golden castor sugar. It's quite easy to see it on the fish, and you don't need a lot of sugar. Just a thin layer covering right over the whole fish, and very, very quickly the sugar will start to absorb the liquid that's in the fish, and you will get a syrupy liquid around the tray of the fish. So you need to do this in quite a high-sided tray, just to catch the liquid that will come out. So that's where I've got to at this stage for this week. I have my fish frozen for 24 hours. I've had it in the wet brine for 24 hours. That's in the salt dissolved in water. I now put it into the sugar for 24 hours. I leave it rest there. When after 24 hours, I scrape off any excess that's on the top of it and pour out any liquid that's in the tray. I don't rinse it off and I don't wash it. I just leave it I just pour off any excess. Once I've done that, I put it into the fridge for 24 hours to rest. That allows a pellicle to form on the surface of the fish. almost like a sticky kind of a surface, and that's what the smoke clings to in the smoking process. So for next week's video, what I'll do is I'll show you how I set up my smoker. That's my way of doing it. There's no right way or wrong way, it's just my way. But I'll show you how I set up my smoker, smoke off the fish, and then hopefully I'll have it ready to be able to show you how I slice it as well. So that's it for this week, folks.